We're back, fans, with Shake, Rattle, and Roll, and Lanny Poffo, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
We can hear you fine. Honky, are you there?
Leaping Lanny Poffo. Oh, yeah.
Not leaping anymore. I'm limping now.
Oh, no, you're not either. You were in that tag match with me in Canada a couple of months ago, and you did wonderful.
Did you hear me scream like a big pussy when they tried to suplex me, double suplex me? And I said, no.
Yes, and I saw you set what we call in the business setting down on somebody, and you sat down on them, and they couldn't pick you up.
No, I had a sit-down strike, and you were laughing in the corner.
Yes, I was laughing in the corner. But anyway, I have a tribute to your brother that it's my worst. Well, I know I do him pretty good, but later on we're going to do it on the show so that. And then when you do talk to your brother, you can say, hey, it was a tribute, and he loves to do this for you. Oh, yeah.
I'll play it.
Real good there.
Yeah, so you're doing better than me. But anyway, how's everything with Lanny Poffo?
Oh, terrific. Everything's going well. I check the obituaries every morning. If I'm not in there, I get up and start the day.
Well, I see around here, if my heart's still beating, it's a good day.
And I'll tell you what, I've been listening to this radio show. It's excellent. Of course, it was the best of times and the worst of times. I really loved hearing from Jimmy Snuka. What an excellent person, huh?
Yes, a first-class gentleman, and that's what we want to do, and have guys on and talk about stuff and all in a positive way. And I know you and Jimmy Hart did something. I was mentioning Chris Daniels doing charity work and me donating my hair. You guys just did some wonderful charity work there in Florida.
Right. I'll tell you something. Jimmy Hart is multi-talented, and he has a hit song from 1965, "Keep On Dancing," with the Gentrys, and he sang that song, and baby, did he pop the crowd. It was fantastic. And not only that, it was his personality, not just the singing, because he got everybody involved, told about 15 jokes in a row. And, he's an entertainer, just like you. And,
well, you're right. I think I mentioned that to you. I said, I'm not a wrestler, Lanny. I'm an entertainer.
Well, I'll tell you what. The only thing negative that I can tell you about this show is you were talking about the unfortunate incidents that might have happened in Massachusetts with Nash?
Hall.
Well,
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. I happen to really like those two. They are so much fun in the dressing room. I really love the Razor Ramon gimmick. If I were the promoter, there's one thing I would have done. The worst thing that can happen when you book a superstar like Hall is if he doesn't show up. But if he shows up and he's not clean and sober, here's what you do. And from now on, I wish they'd heed my advice. You make a lot of noise in the dressing room. Then you have your top heels, throw them outside in the door, and get them in a fireman's carry or a body slam, throw them into the ring, put the boots to them. That way the fans aren't mad because they got to see Scott Hall. And nobody knows that he was inebriated because you just beat the hell out of him. Then you call the ambulance and you get him the help that he needs. I'll tell you what they did was they just, if I'm not mistaken, they just walked him out there and left him to the wolves.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Lanny, and that would have been a good way to do that. And sometimes we forget because we've been, being on the road for 300 days a year like we were so programmed at one mode of action that we lost our creativity in our brains to think about those things. And that's a good point you made, and it would have been the best way to do that as opposed to, having a sacrificial lamb that they use there.
Yeah, it's anyway. It made me pretty angry that they, he doesn't need to have his name tarnished. And I love the guy. I think he's an excellent person. You were talking about sometimes you used to party a little bit, but I always remember you would do it after the matches, not before. In other words, the show came first, right, Honky?
Yes, the show always comes first. That's what's important because we're dealing with people use their hard-earned dollars to come and see us, and they expect to see something positive.
Well, speaking of something positive, if anybody's listening that knows Scott Hall, tell him I love him and tell him I hope he gets the help he needs. And I am ashamed that the powers that be didn't have the intelligence to cover up for him. That way, it wouldn't have gotten to the TMZ or whatever the hell gossipy networks it's on, and we wouldn't be talking about it now.
No, you're absolutely right, and that's where I go, and I really do pound on this TNA thing because they have, with that thing they do with that Hardy Boy and send him out, and this is a national syndicated television show and everything, as opposed to some small independent up in Massachusetts with Scott. But they did, they were just as guilty, and they could have done the same thing what you just said.
And I know that several times Jake the Snake Roberts has been in a similar situation. I always thought, why don't they just beat the hell out of him, throw him out of the ring, and call the ambulance? It's like, it's so simple, yet nobody thinks about it.
Well, it's the old school way, and you got this promoter, I guess, obviously I've never worked for him that I know of. He was like 31 years old. He's been around the business for like 4 or 5, 10 years maybe. Okay, whoop-de-doo. So what does a 31-year-old promoter know about anything, Lanny? You know that. Your father was a great promoter. You guys ran a great territory up there in eastern Tennessee and southern Kentucky and all over for many years.
Well, I remember a couple of times, twice, once in Hazard, Kentucky, and another time in Johnson City, the ring didn't show up. Through nobody's fault. It's just sometimes the ring doesn't show up. And we just wrestled on the floor, gave the fans a hell of a show. Nobody asked for a refund. And, the show must go on. No show, no dough. It doesn't take a genius to figure that one out, does it?
and no pun intended, right?
Oh, I intended a pun, yes.
But you're right. I was on a USO tour, a military base tour in Kodiak, Alaska, and they had no ring there. So they took the yellow police tape, caution tape it was. We put four little posts up and wrapped it around there, went to the gymnasium, got the wrestling pads, and had the matches that night for those people.
You know something, Honky? I just saw a match between me and you when I was leaping Lanny against the Honky Tonk Man.
Oh,
and
God.
Man, I got to tell you, I meant more losing to you than I ever did beating anybody. I want to wrestle you some more. You understand that you can get yourself over without destroying anybody. It's a win-win-win situation. I won because I lost to you. You won because you beat me. And the fans won because they got entertained. So please, let's do it again, because I don't want to go for a vertical suplex between two guys that are 7 feet tall in a very hard ring. I want to wrestle a man that wears the jumpsuit, does the shake, rattle in a row, sings his song, and you pay him his blanket money and he goes to blank home.
That's it. Just give me my money so I can go home. But no, Lanny, that night we had the tag match was the first time you and I had ever tagged together, ever. That's
right, and I enjoyed tagging with you, but I'd rather be your nemesis. And I don't care who's the heel, I don't care. It's just that I only have a few more matches left, and I'd rather be with you.
Well, we had great chemistry together, as I did with your brother, and it's one of those things where, we were all trained kind of pretty much the same way, and we understood that it takes everyone that's inside that ring to make a match, not just one person or two people, or, if you got a 6-man tag, it's 6 people plus a referee, and of course you got to get the fans involved. So there's a lot of things that have to go on.
That's right, and everybody comes up to me and they said they remember WrestleMania 3 with Ricky Steamboat against the Macho Man, and what a great match it was. But you know what people forget to remember? Dave Hebner, the referee that was there for every one of those false finishes. And he dove on the mat, pounded it like it was the seventh game of the World Series. Don't you know that a referee is important too? Like you said, anybody in that ring or around the ring is important. And in a successful match, there's everybody that's anywhere near the lights has some responsibility to entertain the people.
You're absolutely right, and people don't understand the hard job of a referee is that up and down, counting, slamming that mat, and all those referees back from both the Hebners and Timmy White, who was there in the WWE, they've all had to have the surgeries on their shoulders, to have the joints replaced and scoping of the shoulders. Referee, you know what, guys, and you know this yourself, Lanny, a referee will come up to me and say, "How did I do out there?" And I look at him and say, "I didn't even know you were in the ring. You did wonderful."
That's right. They have to act like they have authority while having none. They have to keep their butts out of the way between the camera and the talent. You know what I mean? And just look like they've got something to do. Like the Vice President of the United States. He's got to act as if he had a job.
I knew you were going to go political on me sooner or later.
I can't help it, you know.
But what you're coming out to California. We just had Kurt White on. You're going to be out there for the Newark, California autograph signing.
Yeah, I looked on the map, and it looks like it's between Oakland and San Jose.
Yes, it is. It's in the Bay Area there between Oakland and San Jose.
Now, is this? Can I tell a little joke that's a little bit blue?
Well, I mean, it's up to you. I mean, you know, you have children.
Walton, if it's all right to be a little dirty.
Well, you have children too.
It's fine, Lanny. Go ahead. It'd be great.
Okay, I'm gonna use euphemisms. Did you know that San Francisco is an air-conditioned city?
No, I didn't know that.
Well, they got a blower on every corner.
Well, I was just out 2 weeks ago to do the comic book convention, and believe me, I saw more than I needed to see.
Well, what's the only bird that does not reproduce?
I don't know.
The swallow.
Okay. Well, so what else you got coming up, Leaping Lanny?
Well, let's see. Are you guys going to be on the air every week?
Every Monday night.
Wow. I'll tell you what. I've been working with the Macho Man, but I love my nose. I love breathing through it. And if I make a statement before he's ready, it's going to be real big for me. So when I have something to tell you, let me come back on your show, and I'll make the announcement on your show exclusively.
I know, Lanny, you will be in the danger zone.
I'm going to be in serious trouble. But there's one thing for sure, Honky Tonk Man. No matter what happens to me, I'm not going to die young.
I love both you guys, and I wish I could have. You know, I was down with the Jarrett and then Nick Goulas and those guys, and never got a chance to really come up and work in you guys' territory, and I would have had some great fun because you guys had some of the best talent in the world there at one time. And you started
Ronnie Garvin, Bob Brooks, Bob Orton Jr., and a lot of wrestlers that you've never heard of that became great.
Yes. Yeah, I was going to mention, I met this one kid. Nick sent us up to do one of you guys' show, a fair show somewhere, I think, if I remember correctly. And I met you guys for the first time, and I met this young, big kid, 6'6", 300, 400-pound kid in the locker room, long hair, big beard, and his name was One Man Gang.
Oh, man, he was great.
Just, I mean, a fabulous talent, and for a big guy, I've never seen a guy that size do the stuff that he did.
Yeah, Crusher Broomfield. As a matter of fact,
that's him. That's what you got.
We were running 3 towns a night, and I was in one of the towns, and they said to grade this guy, he's coming in. So I watched his match. I hid in a perch on the top perch so no fans could bother me, so I could give it and I said, listen, you better take this guy and do something with him. He's enormous. He's He's a working man, and he looks like he stole a couple pages from Johnny Valentine, not Greg the Hammer, Johnny Valentine, the father.
Right.
And you know, Greg is great, but Johnny was the one and only.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Crusher Phil, that's what you call him. You're exactly right.
Right. You know, and Buddy Rogers and all those people from there, they call us old school. Hey, listen, there was an old school before us, you know, and there was some amazing talent. And, you know, lest we forget, thank God for YouTube, huh?
Yes, very. I mean, I look back at that stuff now and I see things that I never got to see because it never came in to Memphis TV where I was living, and now I can see old matches from the Kiel Auditorium or San Francisco and places like that.
Well, I got something to say before I take a risk on you guys cutting me off, because I know you guys got a lot of talent up here. But I just like to say to Steve Welton, thank you for what you did for my father. He took the JPEG of the 6033 Ripley's Believe It or Not. He put it on a T-shirt, and trust me, when I gave that to my father and presented it to him, you know, I have to admit that the last 5 years of his life, the elevator was not getting to the top. You know, as far as his, he was starting to diminish mentally. But when he saw that, a tear came in his eye. And he put it on, and he was so happy and so proud. And so what we did, let's just put it this way. Yesterday was his birthday. He would have been 86. He died on March 4th, 2010. Steve, he's wearing it now. We buried him in the T-shirt. Now, he's not buried. He's in a beautiful mausoleum in the wall. But he's got his T-shirt on, and he's got he's got his favorite sweatsuit on top of that, but the zipper's open, so his the greatest feat of his life, 6,033 sit-ups, and Ripley's Believe It or Not, is exposed. And Steve Wilton, all the way in England, I want you to know how much that meant to him and all of us.
Wow, thank you so much, Lanny. That really means a huge deal. That's an honor.
And now for eternity, he'll be wearing it. Isn't that something?
That's incredible. Absolutely incredible.
Well, you know, there's a lot of nice people in the world, and all they get for it is tired. I just thought I'd give you a little bit of, just a little 2 words thank you, and we'll just drop it. You know, because that was very, very special. What do you think, Honky? Was that a pretty good thing?
Yes, it was, and it was absolutely marvelous. And your father was a fantastic gentleman, a real pro wrestler. He knew how to promote. He knew what to do, and he brought two of the best wrestlers in the world into the business, Leaping Lanny Poffo and the Macho Man Randy Savage. What else can be said?
I'll tell you something. I appreciate what you said there, but do you know that even though he was starting to split, he wasn't totally out of the picture when you were in the WWE. He loved your gimmick. Let me tell you, he laughed. He loved it. He said, now that is a gimmick. And as Jimmy Hart would say, it's visual.
It's visual, yes.
Yeah, and you know what? And Jimmy is right.
Well, Lanny, thank you so much, and I will see you in California May 21st.
Well, I'm not going to be in Somerset, New Jersey on May the 7th. I'm going to be in Thunder Bay. And then, let's see, on the 14th, I'm going to be in Toronto, but I don't think you're going to be there, right?
No, I won't be there. I'm not in Canada anytime soon. I wish you well up there. You do very well up there, as I do, because you guys were over in Canada for many years before I was even there.
I'll tell you something. Would you do me one favor, Honky Tonk? Next time you get booked in one of these shots and you need an opponent, I would love to do the job for you. So you just bring me in, and I will read the poem, miss the moonsault, and suffer the shake, rattle, and roll.
Oh, I don't.
Do 7-footers to vertical suplex me on a stiff ring. I'll be happy.
I wouldn't dare do that to you, Lanny. But gosh, it was.
I may not get up after that.
I'm so glad you called in.
Lanny, before you go, we have Honky's Macho Man promotional video if we could play it for you to let us know what you think.
Okay.
Okay, here it comes.
This is the Honky Tonk Man, the greatest WWE Intercontinental Champion of all time, and every Monday night, you're going to shake, rattle, and roll. Woo! Yeah! Oh, yeah! Oh, Honky Tonk Man, you're in the danger zone. Yeah, space is the place. Yeah!
Awesome.
I'll tell you what. Do you remember that interview that he did? I remember back in the days before they did generic interviews. Every little market had their own thing, and you were like married to the Macho Man for like several months of main events, right?
Yeah. Yes.
And you remember when he told you to Honky Tonk, when you get to the building, go in your glove compartment, pull out an automatic weapon, and pull your brains out. And they said, cut, you can't do that. You can't do that. He said, so I guess that never aired, but I thought I'd air it now because, the standards are a little lower here.
We had so much fun doing those non-generic interviews where we could just really, I did one, and my friend from the Milwaukee Brewers, who's in charge of the public relations up there, the media department, he tells me, he calls me on, leaves it on a message. Hey, Macho Man, when I finish with you, I'm taking Miss Elizabeth because I'm talking romance.
I just thought of something. Back in Channel 5 studios in Memphis.
Yeah.
Okay, Jimmy Hart made an interview, and something, the boys are kind of jaded and chagrined. They've kind of seen it all, done it all, heard it all, and sometimes they don't pay attention. And, I get a little sleepy myself, but Jimmy Hart was on the interview, and he says, I don't know why Lance Russell wasn't there. Lance Russell?
Yeah, Russell.
Okay, but he says, and, he's all about, oh, this is the greatest day of my life. He says, and Lance Russell couldn't be here because he's at an AA meeting. And I for some reason, I fell on the floor laughing. I couldn't believe, it's like live Memphis TV, and anyway, these are the kind of interviews that I enjoy.
Well, that's what made us famous.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I don't have that much time left, Honky Tonk Man, but you got to book me and you one more time, please.
Okay, well.
You get booked, you get a lot of bookings. Call me up, send me there, and I'll do anything you want. I just want to remember what wrestling was like when it was great, when it was really great, when you could hold the people in the palm of your hand, and you could entertain them, and nothing else mattered but the show.
Well, I hope we can make that, do that dance one more time.
Thank you so much.
Okay, man. So how much time do we have left, or do we have any other guests coming on? What's the story?
Well, I have to get into this TNA thing and talk about what's really going on inside the management level of TNA right now. And it's if you want to stay on and listen, because the fans can hear.
All right. I gotta get going. But in the words of Bruno Sammartino, Bruno. In my day, we didn't. It was an entirely different ballgame altogether. You stupid motherfucker! Who do you think you are, Farrah Fawcett Majors? You're for good purpose. Now fuck off.
You're gonna have to do my impersonations for me. Thanks, Lanny. Leaping Lanny Poffo.
All right. God bless you guys. Have a good one.
Thank you so much for coming on, Lanny. He's got a huge heart, and he still does the moonsault. I mean, that's absolutely incredible.
Yes, he does the moonsault. Yes, he does.